GoForThe2.com. We enter week number 11 of the college football season. Week number 10 did not disappoint. We had some major upsets, some great games taking place. This weekend is shaping up to be a great weekend of college football. It starts tomorrow night, Thursday night, through the weekend, and ends with the marquee matchup Saturday night between the 13th ranked LSU Tigers and the number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. I want to remind everybody, this coming Friday, blogtalkradio.com, my co-host, former Georgia Bulldog wide receiver Corey Allen, we're going to break down that big matchup in the SEC West between LSU and Alabama. We'll break down both sides of the ball. We'll give you our analysis and prediction for that ball game Friday on blogtalkradio.com, the NCAA Weekly Blitz Show. Check us out. Let's get right into the predictions for this coming weekend. Let's start with Thursday night, a big matchup between Baylor and Oklahoma. Baylor has a very high-octane offense. Nobody's been able to slow them down, but they're going to be facing a very solid defense in Oklahoma. The key to stopping Baylor's high-octane offense is that you have to be able to rush the football against the Baylor Bears. I think Oklahoma, with quarterback Blake Bell, can do that. They can keep the Baylor Bears offense off the field. I'm looking for a big night out of Damian Williams, and I think Oklahoma pulls off the road upset in Waco. I'm calling for a 35-31 victory by Oklahoma. They shock the unbeaten Baylor Bears at home, 35-31. Let's talk about another matchup on Saturday, Michigan-Nebraska. Michigan embarrassed by their in-state rival, Michigan State. I told you Michigan State had a superior defensive front going up against a mediocre offensive line in Michigan. Michigan State's defensive line dominated in the 29-6 victory. When you look at their opponent this week, Michigan going up against a very overrated Nebraska team that got a Hail Mary pass to win 27-24 over the Northwestern Wildcats. I told you last week Northwestern would challenge Nebraska. They did. They had Nebraska on the ropes, but Ron Kellogg got the Hail Mary pass with no time left to propel Nebraska to the 27-24 victory. I still think Nebraska has some major issues on the defensive front, and when you look at Michigan, they are playing at home. They play much better at home than they do on the road. I like Devin Gardner in this spot to rebound against a very suspect Nebraska defense. Nebraska has a lot of problems stopping the run. I think Michigan's offensive line, they're mediocre, but they'll be able to push around the Nebraska defensive front. I think Michigan dominates this ball game. I don't even think it's close. I'm calling for a 45-20 victory by Michigan at home in Ann Arbor. Brady Hoke has the team ready, and they get the convincing 45-20 victory over Nebraska. I haven't felt strongly about Michigan all year, but I like them in this spot over Nebraska. Let's talk about another team, Notre Dame on the road against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh traditionally plays Notre Dame very tough. They almost knocked off the Fighting Irish last year on the road in South Bend. Pittsburgh not playing very well. They got knocked off by Navy on the road. They're going to be facing a very solid defensive front by Notre Dame. I'm not sold on their quarterback, Tom Savage. I think Notre Dame and Tommy Rees pick up a solid road victory against Pittsburgh. I'm looking for a 35-21 victory by the Fighting Irish over Pitt. I don't think Pitt's that good in stopping the run. I think Notre Dame will be able to rush the football against a Pittsburgh defensive front, and I think Tommy Rees will have a very solid ball game against a suspect Pittsburgh secondary. Notre Dame moves to 8-2 on the year. They pick up the 35-21 victory over Pittsburgh. Let's talk about another team. Minnesota seems to be gelling on and hitting on all the cylinders. They picked up a key road victory last week in Indiana. They're 7-2 on the year. I thought they would start the season 5-0. They didn't, but they've rebounded very nicely. Philip Nelson, the sophomore quarterback, leading very solid drives, methodical ball control offense by the Golden Gophers. I like what they're doing. I'm still not sold on Penn State. Christian Hackenberg last week struggled. He got off to a fast start, struggled late in the ball game. They did pick up the victory in overtime against Illinois, a team that hasn't won a Big Ten game in over 15 attempts. I like Minnesota at home. I think they're gelling. I like the rushing attack by the Golden Gophers. I think they pick up the 10-point victory, 34-24 over Penn State in this ball game. Let's talk about another team. Missouri plays on the road against Kentucky. If you watched this game last year, Kentucky was able to move the football against the Missouri defense. They had a lot of turnovers within the 30-yard line. They were almost in the red zone on Missouri, able to move the football. Kentucky's offense is a lot better this year, and also freshman quarterback Matty Mock from Missouri making his first true road start of the year. Both games that he started against Florida and South Carolina and Tennessee were all home games. Now he's making a true road start. I think Kentucky's offense is able to move the football. I don't think Missouri will take Kentucky very seriously, and I think Kentucky plays Missouri down to the wire. They get the victory 28-24 over Missouri. They shock Missouri in this matchup. You heard it here first. Kentucky shocks Missouri in this matchup 28-24. Let's talk about one more matchup in the Big Ten between Wisconsin and BYU. Wisconsin likes to rush the football. BYU's defense very solid against the run. They have a very good defensive tackle. They have a very solid defensive end in Van Noy. I think he'll be able to create pressure. I'm not sold on Joel Stave, Wisconsin quarterback. I know they have solid running backs, but I like BYU in this matchup. Cody Hoffman, the wide receiver. Taysom Hill, a very solid quarterback. He can throw. He could also hurt you with his legs. I think that's the difference. BYU picks up the road victory over Wisconsin. I'm calling for a 31-24 victory by the Cougars this weekend. Stay with me all season long. I think it's going to be a great weekend of college football, and I can't wait to talk about it. So stay with us at GoForThe2.com.